I'm Dr. Catherine Harris, and today I want to talk to you directly, person to person, about a topic that changes lives quietly but profoundly. Practical, science-guided ways to increase sexual stamina and overall intimate performance. When people hear those words, they often imagine a single magic trick. In reality, stamina is a whole-body, whole-mind capacity. It's the ability to sustain desire, energy, arousal, attention, connection, and recovery together. Think of it as a system: circulation, breathing, muscle control, nervous system balance, mindset, communication, and recovery. When that system works smoothly, you feel present, confident, and in control. When even one piece is off, poor sleep, high stress, tense pelvic muscles, low aerobic capacity, you feel it. The good news is that each of these pieces is trainable. My goal today is to give you a practical roadmap you can start using immediately, with clear steps for the next 30 days and principles you can lean on for the rest of your life. Let's set our ground rules. This is a judgment-free conversation. We're going to use clear, respectful language and focus on health, connection, and performance without reducing intimacy to a single metric. I'm not your personal physician, and this video is educational, not a substitute for medical care. If you have persistent pain, sudden changes in function, or concerns about medical conditions or medications, speak with your clinician. Also remember that performance isn't only about duration. Real performance includes presence, empathy, communication, pacing, and aftercare. When those are strong, satisfaction rises, often more than with any single technique. First, physiology. Stamina depends on blood flow. Blood flow depends on your vascular health, and your vascular health depends on daily habits. If there is one training category that moves the needle for most people, it is consistent aerobic exercise. Aim for moderate intensity cardio, brisk walking, cycling, swimming, or jog-walk intervals. On most days, building to at least 150 minutes per week, and ideally 200 to 300. If your joints allow, add one short session of higher intensity intervals each week. For example, 6 to 8 rounds of 30 seconds comfortably hard, 90 seconds easy. Why does this matter? Because aerobic training improves endothelial function, the ability of blood vessels to dilate when your body signals for increased flow, and that responsiveness is central to arousal. If your legs and heart can sustain effort, your intimate organs benefit from the same improved circulation. Think of cardio as your blood flow bank. Next, strength training. 2 to 3 sessions per week that focus on large movement patterns, squats or sit-to-stands, hip hinges like deadlifts or good mornings, push and pull movements for the upper body, build overall stamina by improving muscular endurance and metabolic flexibility. Keep your form strict, your breath steady, and your sets challenging but controlled. You don't need a gym to get benefits. Bodyweight circuits and resistance bands work well. Strength training helps regulate blood sugar, reduces visceral fat, and supports hormone health, all of which influence sexual vitality. Now, a specific and often overlooked piece: the pelvic floor. Your pelvic floor is a sling of muscles that support your pelvic organs and contribute to arousal, control, and satisfaction. For many people, Kegels are the only term they've heard, but the truth is more nuanced. Performance demands both strength and relaxation. If your pelvic floor is too weak, you may have less control. If it's too tight or overactive, you may experience premature plateau, discomfort, or reduced sensation. Start with awareness. When you're urinating, notice the muscles you'd use to gently pause the stream. Don't actually train this during urination. Just recognize the sensation. Those are the muscles. A basic training pattern is 3 parts: a slow contraction, a quick pulse, and a full release. Inhale gently to prepare. As you exhale, contract the pelvic floor as if picking up a blueberry with those muscles and lifting slightly. Hold for 3 to 5 seconds, then release completely for at least 6 to 8 seconds. That release is essential. Let the muscles melt. Follow with 8 to 10 quick, crisp pulses. Contract 1 second, release 1 second. Do 2 sets of this sequence, once or twice a day. If you notice tension, add down training, long exhales, belly softening breaths, and gentle pelvic stretches like child's pose or happy baby. We want coordinated, resilient muscles, not just tight ones. Breathing is your secret lever. During intimacy, your nervous system toggles between sympathetic energy, alertness, drive, and parasympathetic calm, connection, openness, sustained arousal. When anxiety spikes, breath becomes shallow, your pelvic floor clenches, and arousal can feel either too intense too quickly or it can fade. Practice breath control outside the bedroom so it's available when you need it. Try this simple pattern. Inhale through your nose for 4, exhale through your mouth for 6, and add a brief soft pause of 1 to 2 seconds after the exhale. Do this for 3 minutes, twice a day. Longer exhalations bias your body toward calm. During intimacy, shift to a smooth, continuous breath. No breath holding, no bracing. When you feel yourself climbing faster than you want, lengthen your exhale and soften your belly. If you train only one skill this month, make it the exhale. Sleep is the foundation that amplifies everything else. Most adults need 7 to 9 hours. Sleep rebalances hormones involved in desire, energy, and mood. It also lowers baseline sympathetic tone, making arousal more responsive and less fragile. Guard your last hour of the day, reduce bright light, power down devices, and choose a relaxing routine, stretching, breath work, reading something calming. Limit alcohol. It may lower inhibitions at first, but often blunts arousal quality and stamina later in the night. Caffeine is helpful when timed early, but for most people it's best to avoid it after mid-afternoon. Stable energy from sleep will do more for your intimate life than any hack. Nutrition supports stamina through circulation, inflammation control, and stable blood sugar. A Mediterranean-style pattern is a reliable anchor. Plenty of vegetables, leafy greens, colored fruits, legumes, whole grains, nuts, seeds, olive oil, and fish. Modest amounts of lean poultry. Minimal ultra-processed foods. Foods rich in natural nitrates, beets, arugula, spinach, can support nitric oxide pathways involved in vasodilation. Polyphenol-rich foods like berries and pomegranate may support endothelial function. Hydration matters more than people realize. Even mild dehydration raises heart rate and lowers endurance. If you drink alcohol, keep it moderate and hydrate alongside it. If you smoke or vape nicotine, know that vascular function is particularly sensitive to those exposures. Cutting down or quitting is one of the highest impact changes you can make for circulation. A quick word on supplements. Whole lifestyle changes are more powerful than any pill, but there are a few supplements with preliminary or mixed evidence that some people find helpful. L-citrulline may support nitric oxide availability. Some individuals use 1.5 to 3 grams daily, though responses vary. Panax ginseng has been studied for sexual function. Quality and dosing are highly variable. Ashwagandha is sometimes used for stress modulation and perceived vitality. Maca is popular for libido, though evidence is inconsistent. Always check interactions, avoid if pregnant or breastfeeding without medical guidance, and speak with your clinician if you have chronic conditions or take medications. Avoid anything marketed as a cure-all. Your health deserves better science than that. Now let's talk about technique and pacing, because this is an area where many people feel shy, but it's where you can claim the most control. Think in terms of an arousal ladder with several rungs. The early rungs are light excitement, warmth, and connection. Mid-rungs are steady desire and arousal. The top rungs are pre-orgasmic plateau and climax. Stamina is the ability to linger between the mid and upper rungs, savoring sensations without rushing into the top. One of the most reliable ways to build this is sensate focus, a simple, non-goal-oriented touch practice you can do solo or with a partner. Set aside 10 to 15 minutes, remove pressure for any specific outcome, and explore touch with mindful attention to texture, temperature, pressure, and breath. If you're solo, include your whole body, not just your genitals. If you're with a partner, alternate giver and receiver, and keep communication light and curious. This trains your brain to enjoy the journey instead of sprinting to the finish. For those who want specific control strategies for delaying climax, the classic start-stop and squeeze approaches are still useful when practiced intentionally. Start-stop means allowing arousal to build to a 6 or 7 out of 10, then stopping stimulation while you breathe and let the intensity drift down to a 3 or 4. Repeat several times before moving forward. The squeeze technique uses a gentle, brief pressure at the base of the glands or at the perineal area to interrupt the reflex when you feel very close, always gentle, always paired with long, slow exhales. Both techniques work better if you train your breath and pelvic floor first. Remember, the goal is sensitivity management, not numbness. You're learning to notice earlier signals and modulate them skillfully. Communication multiplies everything. Before intimacy, have a 2-minute check-in with your partner. What kind of connection are you both in the mood for? Playful, tender, slow, adventurous? Agree on tempo. Agree that either of you can say slow, pause, or breathe as a non-judgmental signal to shift gears. During intimacy, use short, positive cues, slower, a little more pressure, that's good, and mirror your partner's breathing to synchronize. Afterward, debrief with warmth. One thing you loved, one thing you're curious to try next time. Couples who normalize these micro-conversations tend to experience higher satisfaction and more consistent stamina because there's less pressure and more collaboration. Let's address a sensitive but common pattern: performance anxiety and spectatoring. Spectatoring is the mental habit of watching yourself perform, as if you were outside your body, evaluating every move, which pulls you away from sensation and into worry. The antidote is gentle redirection. When you notice self-judgment, label it kindly. There's the critic again. And bring your attention back to a single sensory anchor: the warmth of your partner's skin, the rhythm of your breath, or the feeling of your hand. Keep coming back. If worry persists, shift to slower, more rhythmic movements and elongate your exhale. You're training your attention like a muscle. Over time, moments of presence lengthen naturally. Now let's integrate this into a simple 30-day plan. Weeks 1 and 2. Establish your foundations. Commit to at least 5 days of movement per week, 3 days of 30 to 40 minutes of moderate cardio, 1 day of intervals, and 2 days of strength work. You can combine cardio and strength on the same day if you prefer. Add your daily pelvic floor practice: 2 sets of slow holds, quick pulses, and full releases, and 3 minutes of 4 to 6 breathing morning and evening. Aim for consistent sleep, a true wind-down routine, set bedtime, dark cool room, and minimal late alcohol. Every other day, set a 10-minute solo sensate focus session to retrain attention and sensation without pressure. Nutrition shifts should be realistic. A large salad or vegetable bowl daily, swap 1 refined carb for a whole grain option, include a handful of nuts or seeds, and choose water with meals. Weeks 3 and 4. Layer in the performance skills. Keep your movement routine. Add a second interval day if you're adapting well. Extend 1 strength session with a few extra sets for the hips and glutes. Bridge holds, hip thrusts, and Romanian deadlifts are fantastic. Continue pelvic floor work, but now add down training stretches if you sense tension. Increase breath practice to 5 minutes in the evening. Schedule 2 short partner sessions focused purely on practice. No outcome required. Use the arousal scale. Build to 6 to 7. Pause. Breathe down to 3 to 4. Repeat. Notice how your body becomes more responsive each week. By day 30, you should feel a clearer sense of pacing and control, better energy, and more confidence. Medical red flags and reality checks matter here. If you notice persistent erectile difficulties, rapid loss of erection, or significant changes in lubrication or comfort, talk to your clinician. Erectile dysfunction can be an early sign of cardiovascular concerns. Pain with intercourse, pelvic pain, vaginal dryness, burning, deserves evaluation. Sometimes a simple change like a high-quality, body-safe lubricant and more extended arousal time helps, but sometimes hormonal changes, floor tension, or other conditions are involved. If you take certain medications, antidepressants, antihypertensives, anti-androgens, know that sexual side effects can occur. Never stop medication without medical guidance, but do raise the topic. If you have diabetes, sleep apnea, thyroid issues, or low testosterone symptoms, these can influence stamina. Managing the underlying condition often improves sexual function more effectively than any quick fix. Let's talk about arousal timing differences. Many women experience responsive desire, meaning interest grows as arousal grows. This requires time, safety, and buildup. Many men experience spontaneous desire more readily. Both are normal, and both can be cultivated. Stamina improves when you honor the slower curve. Extended warm-up, multiple on-ramps to arousal, conversation, light touch, massage, kissing, and patience with the body's natural pace. For women experiencing perimenopausal changes, fluctuating hormones, dryness, mood shifts, stamina often improves with more deliberate warm-up, lubrication, strength training, and stress reduction. Sometimes medical therapies are appropriate, and that's a conversation with your clinician. For men worried about lasting longer, remember that arousal control is a skill, and it adapts with practice. Breath, pelvic coordination, and start-stop training are your core tools. Recovery is the unsung hero. Heavy training days in the gym can leave your nervous system revved. On those evenings, choose gentler intimacy or wait until the following day when your parasympathetic tone rebounds. If you're chronically sore, underslept, or dehydrated, stamina will suffer. Recovery practices, walks in daylight, stretching, a warm bath, magnesium-rich foods, or gentle yoga help shift your system into a receptive state. You don't need elaborate routines. Consistency beats complexity. Technology can be a helper if you use it wisely. A simple heart rate monitor or fitness tracker can show whether you're getting enough moderate intensity activity. If you struggle with sleep, experiment with a fixed wake time and sunlight exposure within the first hour of the morning. Track trends rather than obsess over nightly variations. If pornography use has conditioned you to seek constant novelty or intensity, consider a structured reset, reducing frequency, varying your stimuli to include imagination and sensation, and retraining with sensate focus to restore sensitivity to real-world touch and pacing. This is not moralizing. It's about giving your nervous system a fair chance to respond to natural cues. Let's bring in something many people overlook: micro skills you can practice during the day. Posture and breath are linked. If your shoulders are up and your belly is tight, your pelvic floor almost certainly mirrors that tension. Several times a day, practice a pressure reset. Exhale fully through pursed lips, let your belly soften, feel your ribs settle, and allow your pelvic floor to drop. That small reset lowers baseline tension so you're not starting intimacy already clenched. Another micro skill is rhythm training. Put on a song with a moderate beat and practice moving your hips or your whole body to the rhythm for 3 minutes while breathing steadily. You're training coordination, endurance, and flow under gentle aerobic load. If you want a specific pre-intimacy routine, here's a simple, non-gimmicky one. About 60 to 90 minutes before, have a light, balanced snack if you're hungry, something like Greek yogurt with berries or a small handful of nuts and fruit. Drink a glass of water. Do 5 minutes of relaxed mobility, neck, shoulders, hips, and 2 minutes of 4 to 6 breathing. If you drink, keep it to 1 standard drink or less prior to intimacy and match it with water. Lower the lights, reduce distractions, and give your brain a chance to shift states. A brief shower can be both practical and sensory. Temperature contrast can heighten body awareness without overstimulating you. None of this is required, but when you repeat it, your nervous system learns this is a safe, enjoyable context, and it responds more predictably. Let's also acknowledge patterns that derail stamina: rushing, pressure, comparison, and hyper-focus on a single outcome. Rushing occurs when you treat intimacy like a performance with a stopwatch. Pressure comes from internal scripts. I have to last X minutes. Or external ideas. This is how it's supposed to be. Comparison happens when you measure your body against unrealistic media narratives. Hyper-focus on a single outcome narrows your options and increases anxiety. The antidote is to broaden your definition of success. Shared pleasure, presence, variety, creativity, and care. When you allow more ways to win, you relax, and paradoxically, stamina improves. For those who want a deeper challenge, try the 5 windows practice over the next month. Window 1. Sensory exploration. Once a week, set a timer for 12 minutes and explore 3 textures: silk, cotton, and something with gentle weight, a small blanket. Notice which pressure ranges feel most alive. Window 2. Rhythm and breath. Choose a playlist of 3 songs, slow, moderate, and slightly faster, and match your breath to each tempo while keeping movement smooth. Window 3. Imagery. Without any stimulation, visualize a scene that feels emotionally safe and gently exciting, and practice keeping your breath slow while the image grows richer. Window 4. Attention toggling. Move attention between your own sensations and your partner's cues. Temperature of their skin, the sound of their breath, the micro movements, every 20 to 30 seconds. Window 5. Generosity. Spend one short session focused primarily on your partner's pleasure without pressure for reciprocity, then switch on a different day. This widens your range and reduces self-monitoring. Some of you are wondering about medications. For erectile difficulties, medications that support blood flow can be helpful when prescribed appropriately. They are not right for everyone, especially if you take nitrates or have certain cardiovascular conditions, so medical screening matters. For low libido, there is no universal pill. Addressing sleep, stress, relationship dynamics, and medical contributors often helps more than any single medication. If your challenges are mostly related to anxiety, therapy, especially with a clinician who understands sexual health, can be transformative. Remember, seeking help is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. I also want to speak to those dealing with pain. Pain during intercourse, whether in the penis, scrotum, pelvis, or vagina, is not something you should push through. Pain changes the nervous system's predictive model. It makes your body guard against future pain, which shrinks desire and stamina. If you experience pain, get evaluated. Pelvic floor physical therapy can help when muscles are overactive or coordination is off. For vaginal dryness, high-quality lubricants, water-based or silicone-based, body-safe, can make a profound difference. For vulvar or vestibular pain, avoid harsh soaps, use cotton underwear, and consider a clinician evaluation for inflammation, hormonal factors, or skin conditions. For men with curvature or plaques, earlier evaluation improves options. Addressing pain first often unlocks stamina naturally because the body feels safe again. Let's personalize this with simple templates you can adapt today. If your main challenge is, I climax too quickly, prioritize breath, pelvic down training, start-stop practice, and sensate focus. Build strength and cardio to stabilize your system and reduce stimulants near intimacy. If your main challenge is, I lose arousal midway, check sleep, hydration, and your mental scripts. Vary stimulation types and pacing, and practice attention toggling to stay present. If your main challenge is, I'm exhausted by the time I get to bed, move intimacy earlier, morning or a weekend afternoon when your energy is higher, and protect that time in your schedule. If your main challenge is, we're out of sync, use the 2-minute check-in ritual and the color cues. Green for more, yellow for slower, red for pause. Small changes, repeated, become reliable habits. Now I want to give you a compact daily routine you can screenshot in your mind. Morning. Sunlight within an hour, 1 glass of water, and a brief mobility flow. Neck rolls, shoulder circles, hip hinges, 10 deep belly breaths with slow exhales. Afternoon. 30 to 40 minutes of moderate movement or your interval session on designated days. Evening, a nutrient-dense dinner that leaves you satisfied but not heavy, a device light last hour, and 5 minutes of breath work. At some point in the day, 2 sets of your pelvic floor sequence, twice a week, a short strength circuit, twice a week, a short sensate focus session, solo or together. That's it. It's not glamorous, but it works, and it respects your biology. Will you see changes in a week? Many people notice better energy, calmer nerves, and gradually improve control within 10 to 14 days when they commit to the basics. By week 4, stamina tends to be noticeably better because circulation, breathing, and attention have all been trained together. Not every night will be perfect, and that's okay. On the nights where things feel off, return to your breath, slow the tempo, and connect. Remember that intimate performance is not a test. It's a conversation between 2 nervous systems, 2 bodies, 2 stories. Bring curiosity, bring patience, bring play. Before we close, let me leave you with a handful of tiny cues you can remember in the moment. First, long exhale, soft belly. You'll be amazed how often this alone smooths the curve. Second, widen the frame. If you feel pressure, broaden your touch, slow down, and change the focus. Third, ride the middle rungs. Don't chase the top too quickly. Linger at 6 to 7 out of 10 and enjoy the sensations. Fourth, check in lightly. Ask, like this, and listen with your eyes and ears. Fifth, reset without drama. If you need to pause, say, give me a breath, smile, and take it. Confidence isn't the absence of fluctuation, it's the ease with which you reset. If you're hearing all of this and thinking, that's a lot, remember that you don't have to do everything at once. Choose one cardio habit, one strength habit, one breath habit, and one connection habit. That's your square one. Build from there. If you want support, talk to your clinician about medical contributors and options, or seek a sex therapist or pelvic health physical therapist if pain or anxiety is involved. You deserve care that respects your goals and your dignity. I'm Dr. Catherine Harris, and I want you to feel empowered, informed, and excited about what's possible. Stamina isn't luck. It's a trainable capacity, and your body is far more adaptable than you've been led to believe. Start with your breath tonight. Schedule your movement tomorrow. Put a glass of water on your nightstand. Ask your partner one curious question. Keep it simple and repeatable. In a month, you'll look back and realize you didn't just change your performance, you changed the way your whole nervous system meets pleasure, connection, and life. If this conversation helped you, share it with someone who needs a compassionate, practical guide. And if you want me to create a full 30-day follow-along training plan with daily prompts, breath timers, and partner practices, tell me in the comments and I'll build it for you. Until then, take care of your sleep, move your body, breathe like it matters, because it does, and give yourself permission to enjoy the journey.